Grand Theft Auto 6 shouldn't strive for realism. Let me explain why. Late last year, the gaming world was rocked by the sudden leak of hours of Grand Theft Auto 6 footage. We all saw it, it's everywhere, you can find it almost anywhere on the internet. Now, after years of keeping the project under wraps, Rockstar suddenly found itself scrambling and running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to scrub the gameplay clips from the internet before too much of the sequel was spoiled. Even so, fans were able to get a clean and great deal of information from the leaked clips, including the updated graphics and the realistic recreations of familiar landmarks, though some fans deemed the game for looking incomplete. Of course it's going to look incomplete because it wasn't done at the time, so that's understandable, but most people understood that it still is, and that the release clips represent a work in progress. Now, others took this as an opportunity to once again ask Rockstar to put more work into making the game feel more realistic than previous installments. But would that really be the best move for the series, especially in 2023? Now, as hype for the next GTA installment grows, we've heard rumors and leaks that have pointed to the next game in the series looking a lot closer to reality than ever before. We're not just talking realistic physics for things like driving, bike riding, or swimming, either one of those, but to hear some insiders tell it, Grand Theft Auto 6 is being designed to make players feel like they're really a part of the action, and that's how it should be. Now, and of course, we're in the era of gaming that has pushed the limits of what we deemed previously possible. Video games feel incredibly immersive thanks to new development techniques, new visuals, new audio fidelity, and not to mention taptic feedback or haptic feedback, whichever way you pronounce it. Those nudges the players at every turn. You can feel it all right in your controller. But Rockstar runs the risk of ruining GTA 6 if it leans too heavy on realism. This is why they should not do it, or at least do not go past your mark. It's one of the 48 laws of power. Because for those of you with great memory, GTA 6 has already been deemed for realism. Now, I'm kind of split on this here, and I'll explain in a second. Now, one of the most common complaints about Grand Theft Auto 4, though it's still considered by many to be the best entry ever in the series, is its tripping over my words. Its characterization of lead protagonist Niko Bellic. Now, we all remember how good Grand Theft Auto 4 was. The driving was a little different, like you really had to know how to drive to play the game, which I enjoyed. Simply put, Niko seems to have a decent enough guy control feature is what I'm saying. Or at least he begins the game with the intention of leaving his violent past behind. When players meet Niko, he's genuinely trying to be a better man, only to find himself sucked into a criminal underworld, one scheme after another. It was a basic story that we all could follow and understand. Now, the problem there is that Niko was so well written that the players found themselves reluctant to engage in some of the more unseemly side activities that are part and parcel that comes with the GTA experience, the series as a whole. It's hard to play as a good guy expressing his desire to break the cycle of violence, only to then be driven around or driving around, blowing up fire trucks and beating up adult strippers and stuff of that nature. The writers on GTA 6 would do well to keep this lesson in mind when crafting the protags of the next game. Now, this isn't to say that these characters should be one-dimensional, but the inhabitants of Grand Theft Auto need to be more cartoonish and slightly out of step with reality. That's what made the game good to begin with. If they're to thrive in the kinds of environments that Rockstar is so adept at crafting, one of the reasons why Trevor caught on so well as a lead character in GTA 5 was that he already had both feet firmly planted to the left of reality. Like, come on now, he's a terrible person, sure, but it's undeniably entertaining to see him go on a cartoon level rampage. There's a clear separation between the player's world and the one Trevor lives in, which makes the gaming experience more plausible. you know? So I just really wanted to point that out. And another thing I want to point out real quick is that Rockstar needs to remember GTA's original roots. That's my biggest concern, is that they're getting away from what made them Rockstar to begin with. Now, as we've seen recently with things like gameplay demos, it can give viewers a bit of an icky feeling to see hyper realistic graphics in a video game dealing with crime and extreme violence. It's one thing to knock the doors down of an enemy basement. That's one thing. Like if you're knocking down the doors of your enemy's basement or your enemy's base and start clearing rooms of bad guys in a shiny first person shooter like Borderlands, I mean, that's cool. But it's another thing entirely when your targets are real looking human beings with their hands up in surrender. Now, I really don't care about that, but you know the media gonna take that and run with it. Now, in order to function as intended, the Grand Theft Auto series always needs to maintain a certain level of goofy, unrealistic type of vibe, you know, no matter how advanced gaming may become. At the end of the day, video games are about escapism, getting away from the real world, being able to kick your feet up, throw some rockets, throw some grenades, blow up some helicopters, those type of things, you know. But as video games become more advanced and therefore much more realistic, Rockstar has to walk a very fine line to keep GTA from losing what made it special and fun to begin with. One of the reasons why the series has continued to be seen as controversial is because of the way in which it has occasionally overlapped with the grim of reality. Drive-by shootings, torture at the hand of government agents, and drug overdoses are all too real fears and concern in 2023 in the modern age. So GTA typically tries to approach these subjects with a much unrealistic aspect as possible, so that way people can tell the difference between the game and real life. Now, no one is saying that Rockstar should avoid taking risks. I think they should take risks and continue to take risks, but it would do well to remember the series over the top roots while crafting GTA for the next hardware. I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. Do you think GTA is going too far by making the game realistic or focusing on realism? I think they should keep the balance, go back to either the old Vice City gameplay or San Andreas, or only go as far as GTA 4. It was a really, really good game. I want you guys to sound off in the comments. I will be reading them. Until next time, I will see you terrible people later. Peace out. Thanks for watching.